ever gotten a bad batch of hair before from one seller or various vendors, and you have tried to avoid these mistakes but it keeps happening? But today I'm going to be sharing with you the system that I use to be able to avoid bad batch of hair and avoid this money consuming error. Well, does this apply to just raw hair? No, this applies to all hair textures and all hair origin. So I previously started a wig brand where my first wig business, and this was a money consuming business for me that I did not make any profit. And when I started this wig business, my intention was good. I was planning to test as much as I wanted to. There are a few mistakes I made during this process, which I'll also be sharing with you so you don't make that mistakes as well. I would order hair. So when I order the hair from the vendor, I will order at least 3 heads. So when I say 3 heads, my thinking then was, you know what, I want to order maybe three bundles and a closure, a short bundle. Then I'll say I'm going to order mid-length, 3 bundles and a closure. Then I'm going to order longer length, 3 bundles and a closure. Because I was thinking, you know what, why don't I test all the length? What if the quality of the hair varies according to the length? So that is one of the reasons. Another reason I used to do that was, I'm going to sell the other 2. So I'm going to just test 1 and I'm going to sell the other batch. And then it sounded quite reasonable for me because number 1, I was saving money from shipping. I was also coming across as if I am a business, because I used to get embarrassed when I email them and they tell me, oh, we don't accept 300 grams, we don't accept 200 grams. And that used to get me quite embarrassed. So I wanted to come off as a proper businesswoman. So when I ordered that 3 batches, I'm thinking, yeah, I spent money, so they would see me as a good business person to deal with, and they will send me a good batch of hair. Now let me tell you, sometimes when I get this hair, it shows the quality terrible, and that's when I knew there was a problem. I knew that I had to make a change. Then I started working on my steps. Now I didn't accumulate the steps all of a sudden, maybe got the step 1. No, it's all through my testing process. Through experience, I was able to accumulate all of the steps that I use now that ensure that I avoid getting bad batch of hair. The first tip that I will tell you now is when you're ordering any hair, no matter how good or how amazing anyone is telling you that this vendor is, you need to stick to ordering just 300 grams. Now when I say 300 grams, I'm talking about 2 bundles and a closure. And if that's not the case, if you're getting a longer length, we always know that longer lengths, obviously they don't have as much volume as shorter length, then you can do 3 bundles and a closure. But I will not advise you to go higher than that, regardless of how you want your hair to have much volume. No, this is not the time to be stylish. This is the time to test the hair. Now, if the hair comes to you and then you like the hair, that's when you can decide to, okay, I'm going to go for 4 bundles now, or I'm going to go for 5 bundles. During this initial order as well, this is when the payment comes in place. I will tell you now that you need to request PayPal first. I know we hear this all the time, but I think I need to say it again. But what you don't know is there are other ways to actually get your money back. It doesn't just have to be PayPal. PayPal is not the only way that you can secure to get your money back. In my opinion, I don't know about your bank, but most of my banks that I use bank transfers. So bank transfers it takes a while to get to the vendor. So it might take 5 to 7 working days. But I believe when you're testing the hair, you have no intention to sell the hair. So you should be patient enough to get to the vendor and pay using bank transfers. I will not advise Western Union. There are some great vendors out there that do not take PayPal, that take like Western Union, but trust me, most of them will take bank transfers. When you're doing the bank transfer, what I do is I put it on there as reference, purchase. When there's a prompt that usually comes up in most of the banks, are you buying something? Are you selling something? I just put it on there. Buying something. And now usually I use my business account, because obviously using my business account and buying hair shows that I am actually buying a product to test. Another thing that you can do is, if you don't have that cash in your bank account, you can actually use your credit card. So I'm not telling, this is not a financial advice, guys. You still need to contact your bank. to like cover you in any worst case scenario, but this is what I do that works for me. So I use a credit card, but the issue about credit card is usually there's a cash advance fee for some credit cards. I think most credit cards do cash advance fee, but if you use a credit card into the Western Union, then your credit card is like you're purchasing something from your credit card using a Western Union. And usually most times in most banks, in most credit cards, that covers you for from 100, I think it's £100 upwards here in the UK. I'm not sure about the US, so I can't speak for the US, but you should contact your credit card company and see if they can cover you for any purchases, because here in the UK, and I believe in the US as well, there is a section where you're covered when you make purchases and your credit card runs above a certain amount. Let me know in the comment section if that covers you guys in the US, because I'm not sure, but I know for sure for the UK, but I'm not sure if this applies to all the credit cards, so you need to contact your credit card company to be sure if it applies to you. So the next tip to avoid a bad batch of hair that I use that works all the time. Now, even though I was able to get a good vendor, I was able to find a good vendor, I was able to avoid wasting so much money when I started my brand. It secured me. I was very happy. There's one mistake I never make. I never order a whole batch of hair in one go. Now, let me give you an example. So if you have $5,000 that you have to invest in your hair, or you've already found a vendor, you're happy, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna like order this hair worth 5K. I would never advise you to put all of that 5K and send it once to a vendor unless you have a very, very good relationship with that vendor. And do not trust anybody. Like, trust is not in my vocabulary. I don't care how long I've worked with you. I will break down my order anytime I'm placing an order with you. So I'm going to explain what I do. So for example, if I have 5K, if I have 10K, to be honest, I can do 5K in one go with my vendor now, but anything above that, I break it down. So what I will do is I will say, okay, $2,000 is worth of hair. I'll send a list of all the hair that I want, and I'll break it down. I'll say, okay, I want this first batch, please, and I'm going to pay you money for this first batch. Sometimes they'll say, no, why don't you do everything? It's going to save you shipping, darling. It's going to save you. You say, don't worry about that. I'm fine. I'm good. Do that first batch first. Now, the trick here is you're sending them a list so they know that you're coming back for more. And when they send you hair, all the hair they will send you will be good bundles, because they know that if you obviously don't come back, they know that you have a list of hair that you want to buy, and they have you in mind. So if you send them that list first, for example, you're sending them a 5K worth of list, but on that Excel page, you're breaking it down. You're saying maybe 2,500 in 2 goes, or I will even say 3 batches. I will say 3 batches. I don't have a good relationship with that vendor yet. Once I send them the first batch, they're very excited. They're like, oh, when are you doing the second batch? So once I receive the hair, I'll do the second batch. And I always stick with what I say. So once I receive the hair, I'm happy with it, then I request for the second batch and I pay for the second batch. That is what I do. I have other friends ordering like 20-30K worth of hair. What they would do is they will order everything in one go, but they tell them to only ship it in batches. So they will tell them ship maybe 5K worth of hair in batches. I don't have storage, things like that. So once they ship the hair, they never tell them to ship it in one go, because once you let them ship all the hair in one go, there will be somebody, it might not even be the person that you're talking to, it might be part of the team, somebody that is too lazy, or somebody that would decide to add few bundles that are terrible into your order because they would think you would never notice. So this trick is something that you should always use, no matter how big or massive your business is. I'm thinking of ordering the next batch, and I don't know if I want me to vlog that process. So if you want me to vlog that process, let me know so that you can see what I'm talking about, if this is actually quite confusing, but I believe it's quite straightforward. Now, the next tip to avoid getting a bad batch of hair is once you get that hair, the first batch, you are opening every single bundle. Like when I do my bundle review, I dip my hands, I separate it, I do it in daylight. So daylight, I'm using natural lights only. and I check for everything between that hair. I check to see any fillers, I check to see the weft construction, I check to see everything. Once I am happy, then I send it. If I'm not happy, I'll take a video and I'll send it to them that the hair that you sent me, there's a bundle that I don't like. Usually when they want to have a good relationship with you, they will send you another vendor when you're sending your next batch. So that is what I do to ensure that the bundles I receive are of good quality. Now, I spoke about when you're placing an order, when you're placing a longer length. I will say, when you want to place a full hair, this is a trick that I do in order to be able to cover all of my testing process, because I test the shortest length, I test the mid length, and I test the longest length. Now, the trick to hair is the shortest length are usually the best hair. So if you make a mistake to think you can order 12 inches or 14 inches hair, and you then make that assumption that the vendor is a good vendor, that is not a good thing to do, because the shortest length is very good. Usually a lot of vendors, the short length are the best. It's when it starts going from mid to long, that's when you start seeing that this company is not the best. That's when you start seeing tangling, you start seeing shedding, you start seeing fillers, because these fillers will lengthen the hair for them. What I do is I order 12 inches, I order 16 inches, and I order 20 inches. Sometimes I do 12 inches closure, I do 14 inches bundle 1, then bundle 2, I do 18 inches, and then bundle 3, I do 22 inches. So in a way, I have covered the length of 14 inches. I don't go above 14 inches because that is moving away from short length, that is going towards mid length. So I focus on short length. I get either 12 or 14. I know that sounds crazy because you're thinking, if I install the wig, how is it not going to look funny? No, it's not going to look funny, because there's a way ideally you can lay your wig in a certain way where you will give you a full length at the end of the day. Or even if it doesn't give you like the perfect full length, you can then layer it to make it nicer. But you need to be able to hold to see how it feels. You need to be able to feel the short length texture, the mid length texture, and then the longer length texture. And you need to be able to run your hands through it, and you need to be able to see if there are fillers, if they had fillers to create that longer length of hair. I know that there are obviously longer length, 28 inches, 30 inches, but if you're going for proper raw hair, it's quite rare to get 30 inches of hair, or 32 inches or 40 inches. Expect fillers in that hair. Expect addition of virgin and then raw when you're going to that hair. Or if you plan to get a longer length that you know that the vendor is good, then you should expect to pay quite a lot for a bundle, because it's quite rare. Because in the countries where they shave their hair or cut their hair, they cut it as soon as it starts going long, like maybe 22 inch, 32 inch. When they start getting to 22, 24, 26, they cut it off. Whereas if you're looking for longer length, that would mean that they're leaving their hair much longer, which will mean that they're going to charge the company more money to cut their hair, which will mean more money for you. If you're unsure about how to maybe layer the hair or hair placement, put hair placement in the comment section, because I'm obviously looking to create more videos about hair, not just talking about the hair, but maybe showing you how to make wigs, how to create wigs, how to curl hair, everything. Let me know in the comment section if that is something that you guys don't mind to see or you don't mind to watch. Then I'm willing to create that video for you. And whilst you're doing that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, so I know that this video is helpful or there's something that you'd love to see more of in the future. The next tip is to, when you've created that wig or maybe you've installed the bundle, I will say you should take it off again. So what I do is I don't install bundles as much, because I test a lot of hair. So if I need to install bundles, then it's gonna take like a month before I take it off. So I do wigs, I have it on for like three weeks, or I wear it off and on. Once I wear it, I've gotten to a stage in my career where once I wear the wig for 2 days, I already know if this hair is good or not. But I'm not sure if you all are there yet. So if you're not there yet, then you need to wear it for longer in order to see how good the hair is. Once you've made the hair into a wig or you've installed it, whichever it works best for you, the next stage is to actually remove it and color that wig. So remember, you've installed this hair in its maybe like natural color, but now we are going to color the hair to maybe like put it up to lift it to 613, lift it up, and then create a wig whilst it's in its color form. I'm not saying, I'm not telling you to just cut a weft and color that weft. No, I want you to be able to color this hair, to be able to bleach this hair and tone this hair and then wear it. Because once you do that, then you'll be able to know if the hair is of good quality. Because usually once you bleach your hair and once you tone the hair, it kind of decreases the luxury of the hair or the longevity of that hair. But usually when it's a good hair, you will not see as much effect, because once you moisturize the hair, it kind of goes back to the way it was before. There are various ways to testing hair. If you want a full video on how I test from top to bottom, it's gonna be quite a long video, because I literally test hair like from top to bottom if I'm trying a new vendor. If you want a video on that, please let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to create that for you. Once you've worn the hair, if you're happy with the way it's looking, even though you've colored it, even though if the hair is lifted to 613, or even if the hair, even though it lifts to 613, it's still looking luscious, it's so good, it still flows well, then you then do a video and then maybe take a picture, send it to the vendor. I will not tell you to send a fully styled picture. You're probably going to see yourself on their Instagram page or on Alibaba. But if you want, you can send a picture of the hair and just say, I've tested your hair, I'm pleased with it. Now I'm okay to like order more hair from you. Now, once you place an order, never skip step 1, step 4, and step 5. You need to still do this step until the kingdom come. I know that it sounds like, oh my God, I already know my vendor. I'm happy with my vendor. I trust my vendor. I feel like trust is a very strong word for somebody that you don't live with. So you need to actually go through those steps again to make sure that the hair is still the same quality that you requested. The reason I'm saying this is usually when they change team, they're not going to let you know that they've changed team, and the team do not know the kind of hair. So that's why you need to go through those steps again to basically get yourself covered when it comes to knowing bad batch of hair. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, please let me know in the comment section. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I do quite a lot of videos on hair, raw hair. I'm also starting to do quite videos on virgin hair. So if that's what interests you, if that's what you'd like, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.